Great. Thank you, everyone, for joining this session. So my name is AJ. I can just say a little bit about myself. I'm an avid gamer, proud nerd, and would have to say that when I first started studying, I was studying computer science, and I went into a couple of different industries in the tech scene, and then about 5+ years ago, I got quite lucky to find my place in the gaming industry. And especially the last 2 years, along with Joris, we started a lot more community-driven projects, mainly around game career development, events, and getting nerds together and seeing what kind of fun can happen.
Yeah, thanks everybody for coming here. My name is Joris Schnabel. It feels super crazy for me to stand here today since I'm also a career changer. I've been in the music industry for 15+ years as a DJ, producer, and sound designer until 3.5 years ago I co-founded a indie dev studio together with my close family members. It's called devcom. Yeah. As mentioned, 3.5 years ago wasn't the smartest decision, to be honest. It was at the beginning of the pandemic. So we've all been greenhorns. We had no idea where to start, actually. So the idea was to create like small events where we just try to gather gamers together and from there take the next steps and see like how we can network or how we can connect ourselves. By that time, we've been lucky enough to have some friends who had like an open air space available, and in Berlin, the rules through the pandemic were that in an open air space you can do these kind of events, of course, with limited amount of people there. So that's how we started. Actually, we did these events and we grew pretty fast, obviously, of course, of the pandemic. But yeah, after a little while we gathered a really bunch of nice people together, and then at some point we started wondering who are these people who are coming to our event. So we did some interviews with them and about their background, what they're working for. Are they in the gaming industry or do they want to work in the gaming industry? And the result was a bit shocking for us, actually, to be honest, because there was like a lot of people who had the skill set to do so and also wanted to work in the industry, but they didn't find any path into it or they didn't know where to start. So we thought like, okay, that's something we want to change. We want to provide like a pathway into the industry. And while doing that, we teamed up with some universities, Games Academy, for example. And then we started to change our events as well. We started to showcase indie games as well as student projects to bring them all in one room, talk to each other and find opportunities to work with each other.
Yeah, when it first started, again, the whole goal was to get all different types of gamers and nerds together. So Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, we had workshops for people. Turns out Stranger Things made Dungeons and Dragons cool. But we were just getting a lot of different types of games in the community. And we noticed that we were getting a lot of people that were not handing around business cards. No one really knew what they were doing, but they were just playing games and then connecting afterwards, which was really special for us because not to say going to business events and networking this way is anything wrong with that, but we wanted to have this kind of low barrier, less stress, just gamers together, play, and then maybe connect, and you might have some similarities there. So from there, we saw this kind of situation where more education or about how to get into the gaming industry was needed, and so we started to jump into it. We ourselves realized how lucky we are to accidentally sometimes find our place in the gaming industry, and I think I've talked to so many people who also felt the same. But then we also realized Joris has a 8-year-old son, and also the community online, let's say the toxicity online, is something we also realized. bunch of our teammates played League of Legends and things like this, and let's just say, yeah.
Yeah, well, actually, we thought we have to do something about education as well. It's not completely selfless, because my son came up to me and told me one day he doesn't want to be an astronaut anymore. He wants to be an influencer. And then I was like, in the first moment, shocked. But then in the second moment, I thought about it and I was shocked about my reaction, because like I work in new media as well. And like the reason why I was so shocked is that I didn't know shit about it actually. Like, and I didn't have the tools that I could give him on the hand, like to navigate safely through the new medias and social medias.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So we started partnering up with more social organizations who are actually tackling this topic about digital media, game addiction, awareness, and then also around the ages of 15 to 17-year-olds, starting to show them game careers. And also parents, because they never took that seriously. A lot of them were not thinking gaming is a real industry until we tell them it's bigger than movies and music combined, and then they're like, ooh, money. And yeah, anyways, it changed perspectives, but the whole point here was more about the helping shape the future and to make it more acceptable. And yeah, through that, a lot grew. We actually this year got very lucky. Along with 4 other organizations, the government and the Berlin government and the EU has given us the funding to do a large 3-day gaming event in Berlin. And with this, we're really trying to focus on education, students, indies. We want to let indies showcase for free there. And yeah, we're just trying to see how we can support in this kind of sometimes tough environment, especially for the indies. Let me switch. So.
Yeah, to come to the next point, fresh talent versus experience. As you can see, like we cross out the experience. What we've learned through our last events and also like through our team up with the universities, that there's like a lot of students out there who just finished their study and can barely find a job. It's really, really hard for them because it's like a lack of junior roles out there, let's say, or like it's tough to gather that experience that a lot of companies want to have. Like from my perspective, like from the Dexter Arts side of things, like we did it the other way around, right? Like we started with 5 greenhorns and we didn't have any idea what to do. Yet we, on the way, collected 2 governmental fundings and found a publisher who believed in our project and works still with us. But at some point, we came to the production pipeline where we realized, okay, we now need help from an experienced person as well. And that was like a very valuable thing for us as well as for the person we've hired, since like we did things differently than experienced people would usually do it. But yeah, we've learned a lot from each other, and we believe that this is actually the way how it should be. It should be not a versus, it should be a balance. You know, it's like one side needs the other and vice versa. Yeah.
Yeah, and also we've been speaking with a lot of like from AAA publishers to also when I was in Sweden and Finland and speaking to see like how are they growing their let's say inexperienced community, and yeah, let's say through some let's say advocates within the scene that they see there's so much potential for seniors or the quote unquote seniors that are experienced can learn from the inexperienced, the young talent, because through mentoring, it cultivates leadership skills, or through the fact of the whole imposter syndrome situation where I'm standing here right now and I sometimes feel it as well, right? I think everyone has a moment in their lives where they feel imposter syndrome. Sometimes it's brief, sometimes it's continuous, but through the ways of teaching inexperienced or new people, it can really, that imposter syndrome kind of goes away and people automatically just feel a little bit more confident. You realize you know more than you realized. So that's something that we want to also stress out. And there's a point here about diversity and inclusivity. If seniors continue to just keep getting the jobs, then seniors become more seniors, but then there's a problem there, right? That's not so sustainable. In the future, for at least a brighter future, would be tough to not give a chance to more inexperienced people to eventually get that experience to become a senior. So I think this is also a topic of inclusivity and diversity that we realized after running several interviews with AAA to indies, realizing that there is a huge talent pool that but helps this issue of inclusivity and diversity that's not being tapped into. And purely because that title is saying senior, whereas even if we get rid of that title, we learned this in a different panel from someone smarter than us, I would say, that realized that taking the word senior out, but still keeping the same amount of years of experience needed, actually brought way more applicants in that were more diverse and inclusive. So I think that we have another slide here, maybe we'll show it to you later, but we had to look at the definition of what a junior is, and it's pretty rough, what a junior is defined as. And it's this kind of, I think, these words that we've been so holding on to traditionally that I think we need to start breaking that down. And we're finding ways to do so. So I'll jump right into this. This is a dear project of ours. It's called Nerd Advisor. And the idea for this actually came last year. Me and a fellow teammate, we took a full stack development course, web development. So I was going back to my old roots just out of curiosity if my old brain can handle it. But it did, and we created a student project actually around finding a way to connect employers and universities to the actual individuals that are either curious looking for a job, juniors, students, and let these employers have a direct way to help educate and to grow them through various ways. And so through this, Nerd Advisor was born. And again, it was a student project, funny enough. But then at this moment, over the last year, we have all sorts of experience of developers on the team. And we're actually around the alpha test of this. So again, the idea here was to enable direct connections between the employers and the actual individuals and promote knowledge sharing, really, and to kind of have this talent growth and community-driven approach to it. So yeah, this is the challenge arena of Nerd Advisor.
So yeah, the idea behind the challenge arena is, I mean, a lot of you guys probably know that as soon as you have a company with some stuff public out there, you receive like huge waves of applications. And these applications usually have like samples of the art style the people did or the projects they did before. But especially like if you're a bit further down the production line, it's hard to pick somebody if you don't have like the capacities to onboard several interns or whatever. So we thought it would be great to create something where people can apply for challenges and work on these challenges. For example, like you give like an art style or an image out, like we need a character in that way, very specific. Yeah, people can.
I think the idea is right here. So employers get a chance to set challenges, right? And through this, it can be in various categories. It can be sound, art, narrative, also challenges for producers. And through these challenges, then individuals can go on there, attempt these challenges, and then the employer can then review it. Once they review it, then if it deems their standards to be acceptable, then the individual gets a badge of recognition. So they are able to collect badges from different employers and also from universities and from different places to kind of almost create a secondary portfolio that helps also employers find a way to source that talent a little bit better in these niche areas. And so the idea for this is individuals can showcase their skills. They have a chance to stand out a little bit more. We have like a level up feature where as you're leveling up, you're also getting rewards. We're speaking with AAA publishers who will, for example, give direct coaching classes, like audio designers will have a coaching class for select 10 to 15 people. And this way we're directly kind of creating a virtual environment where individuals can connect with these employers and employers can have a chance to actually have a direct impact on their growth. And again, this is a bit of an early version, but the idea is again to encourage individuals to try to get out of their comfort zone. We have a community aspect to this where other individuals can check out, once they made an attempt, they can see other attempts and they can like and they can give feedback on other people's attempts. And that also gives a little bit of courage for these, let's say, fresh talents to give them a little bit of acknowledgement towards their talent. And so this is something that we also saw important. And for us as well, we thought this can even help us. So yeah, we want to make it as easy as possible for the employer. We know the employer doesn't have a lot of time to check all these attempts. So we want to make it a little bit of this individual mentorship kind of style as well. So each department can have an account underneath the main employer, and they can put out their challenges. So the art department puts out 5 challenges per month that people can complete. And the coding, or let's say the narrative design department can put specific challenges. Either way, it creates this direct communication, this messaging and feedback system between the individuals and employers. Yeah, so
yeah, as we all know, the golden path to a good customer experience is testing. And that's what we would really like to encourage everyone here who's interested to help us shape this platform better.
And if you have friends, please let them know as well. This is a limited amount of people we can handle, so we can get the right feedback. And then within the next, we're aiming for April next year to have the full launch out. At the moment, we're doing an alpha testing. We're talking to a few AAAs and universities and lots of students and just curious individuals in general to kind of get a nice sample size to see how we can kind of push this forward. But the idea of this is it's for the community, right? So we need the feedback of the community, plain and simple. So we would love the support from everyone. We want to give this platform to improve skills, to gain the recognition, really just help grow and educate talent. And, excuse me, so data, security, and intellectual property. This is a big topic. We of individuals trying out these challenges. So we have a lot of intellectual property and legal laws to protect each side. Yeah, the last thing we want is anyone getting taken advantage of their pure intentions. And yeah, this is just something I want to definitely stress out. Yeah. So that is pretty much it. Really want to thank DevCom here, especially Nico Bletta and also Jay Zhao and Max and really the team. It's really an honor to be here. It's the imposter syndrome slowly goes away, I think. But really, thank you everyone for listening, and really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Do we have time for questions? Yeah.
Yeah. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to find a way to break the system that we're trying to create as well. So it helps us learn.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah. So we already have a few companies on board. So we have an alpha test kind of already in process. So we have a few companies. We're trying to have a mix. So one AAA, one indie, one mobile. So different types of companies. But yeah, we already have companies and universities putting out challenges. I'm speaking also to some recruitment companies to also add their challenges as well. But that's a small sample size. So for the beta test, we want a larger sample size, which is why we have this chance to also talk to everyone here. So if you also know companies that are interested in helping educate or just people wanting to showcase their skills, please let us know. Take a picture of this QR code and feel free to share. And yeah, but good question. Yeah, at the moment, it was actually the concept itself when we brought it up. I don't think I can name the company. I'm not going to try. But it was a AAA that actually said this is something they're really looking into to also for their different teams to push their mentorship. So actually, we got really good feedback from employers. And also, anytime we're talking to students and anyone that's coming on board with this is very excited to use it because let's just say it's very hard for them to get noticed to companies. I think unless you're going around networking or you know someone, there's obviously the classic way of just being one of 1,000 applicants. But yeah, I think everyone's trying to find any way to be noticed at this point. So we're happy this can help in any way. Great question. So we are right now going to, we're starting in Germany and we're expanding to EU. I'll be fully honest, the EU has safer laws for intellectual property as well. So that's something we're also trying to tackle because once it starts going overseas, it gets a little bit messy, which we are right now in the process of handling. But this will be EU focused for now. For at least for the first launch.
How many talents are right now on the platform?
So we have, it's a really small sample size, but we have 20 just signups just to see if the platform is working. So it's really an alpha test, but for the beta test, we're looking to have about 200 to test out for the beta test. And this will, every month or two, push forward a little bit more. We hope to have beta testing from November till about April. So we want really to make sure that everything is working as well as possible to really release it out. I mean, there's a chance it can be sooner, but yeah, I don't want to predict that just yet. Of course. Students coming out of college, but you have challenges from your senior years. Absolutely. I think it might be here. So there, it's hard to see here, but I can show you also later on. But there's different difficulties. So there are challenges also meant for people with years of experience. So it's not only actually meant for students. It is obviously a stepping stone for students to use, but we also have much more difficult challenges that can be used for mid-level to senior as well. Cool. Yep. Cool. Last, done?
All right.
All right. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.